Hey, I'm Miner, an engineer here at RPS Water Pumps, and today I'm going to be showing you how to hook up your 240 single-phase AC electric pump from your starter box to a pressure switch and to a breaker box. The first thing I'm going to show you how to do is how to wire your AC water pump up to your starter box. Our first step is going to be removing this screw here to open up our starter box. Once we have our starter box open, we can look inside and see that we have terminals L1, L2, R, Y, and B, which are going to correspond to our pump wires. Now that our starter box is open, we can go ahead and grab the pump wires and start connecting them to the respective terminals. The ground is going to come over here and connect to this terminal right here, while the rest are going to match their color coding. So red to red, yellow to yellow, and black to black. Now that we have our pump wired up to our starter box, we can go ahead and add our additional lines, which are going to serve as our L1 and L2, or our two sources of hots and a ground. Once this is done, we're going to wire the other end up to the pressure switch. Now that we're all done wiring up our starter box, we can go ahead and take the wires coming out of our L1 and L2 terminals from the starter box, and I'm going to show you how to wire it up to a pressure switch. Now this pressure switch wiring is specifically only for 2 horsepower and below pumps. The first thing we're going to want to do is unscrew the top and take the cap off of our pressure switch. Once you have the cover off, we can examine the inside. You see here we have 2 grounding bolts, and then we have 4 terminals for adding in wires. The next step is going to be wiring power into our pressure switch. For here we have 2 options. We can use an additional wire to wire from our pressure switch to a breaker box, or we could use wire from a NEMA L-30 plug and plug it into power. Using a NEMA L-30 plug, we would simply cut off the neutral wire as it's not needed and utilize the 2 hots and a ground wire. The 2 hots would go at the ends of the terminals and the ground would go at the bottom. As I said before though, today we're going to be using extension wire into a breaker box. Now that we're done wiring our pressure switch, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do the final connections up to your breaker box. Remember, since we're using AC 240 here, we want to make sure that everything is completely shut off and de-energized. The last connections to be made in our system here is going to be our 2 hots and a ground. Opening up our breaker box, we see here we have our 2 terminals, which is going to be used for our 2 hots, and our ground / common tie-in is going to be off to the side over here using one of these terminals. And that's how you wire your single-phase 240 AC pump to your starter box all the way to a breaker box with a pressure switch. For more videos like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell.